In today's lesson, we're going to be learning about something called rates. And rates are really neat and important because rates can help us determine things like how fast something is moving, how great a distance something has traveled, or in case of money, how much interest you've earned, things like that. And that's why rates are important. Rates can also teach us about costs if we want to compare two different costs to see which one is a better buy. But for our first example, let's look at a distance traveled and a speed traveled. We're going to find out how fast something moves per hour. So Halloween was just around the corner, and I personally really like zombies and zombie movies. So if we know anything about zombies, we know that they like to eat brains and they move really, really slow, probably because they're already dead. So let's say we have a zombie friend, and our zombie can travel 12 miles, and it takes our zombie 24 hours, a whole day, to travel those 12 miles. Well, if I want to find out the rate of speed for the zombie, it's really easy. All I have to do is divide the bottom and the top by the bottom number. So I'm going to put an equal sign here to draw out my next step. So remember, I want to divide the bottom and the top by this bottom number. So I end up with 24 divided by 24. And on the top I'm going to have 12 divided by 24. Now this next equal sign will be our last one. This is where our final answer is going to go. I know that 24 divided by 24 is 1. I'm going to go back and take this unit. It was measured in hours, so that's going to stay the same. So we're going to find out how fast or how far it actually goes in 1 hour. But now we have a little bit of math to do in this part here, because I need to divide 12 by 24. So I'm actually going to do that problem down here, put my final answer up here. So once again, it's going to be 12 divided by 24. Remember, the reason why I'm doing this is I divide the top and the bottom by the bottom number. That's how I find a rate. So automatically, does 24 go into 12? No, it doesn't. So we know what to do. Put down a 0 and a decimal point, which means now it is safe for me to add a 0. Now I can use mental math, I can use a planner, or I can work this out on paper. I need to figure out how many times does 24 go into 120? Well, I just happen to know that 24 times 5 equals 120, even, no remainders. That means it goes in 5 times. So now here's the final part of my answer. I go back. It is 0.5, and this unit was miles. So now I finally have my rate, my final answer. That zombie that we were talking about before moves 0.5 miles per hour, or 1/2 a mile per hour. And that's how I solve a rate, ladies and gentlemen. Just remember, I divide the top and the bottom by the bottom number, but make sure you go back in and put in your units. Just like our zombie, remember, our zombie, you should be able to get away from him because he's only traveling 1/2 of a mile in 1 hour. The next step we'll be looking at in dealing with rates is comparing two different rates. So for this next problem, let's pretend that we're in a candy store. And in this candy store, they sell candy two different ways. You can either buy the candy in bulk, and what that means is maybe there's a big container of candy, and you get a scoop in a bag, and you scoop it up, and then you weigh it. That's buying in bulk. The second option is just buying a package of candy where it's already been weighed out for you, and it has a price tag or sticker on it or something. It's easier, you just pick it up, take it to the counter, rather than buying in bulk. But what we want to do is find out which is the better buy. Is it cheaper to buy in bulk, or is it cheaper to buy a package that's already put together? So let's compare these two rates. So just like last time, what I'm going to do is divide both sides, divide the top and the bottom by the denominator. So if I move this over, I want to divide 10 by 10. We know that's going to equal 1. So it'll be 1 pound, because I'm trying to find the cost per pound. That's going to tell me which is a better buy. So if I divided this by 10, I also have to divide the top by 10. So we have a little bit of room over here. We're going to work that out, where it's going to be 15 divided by 10. I know 10 will only go into 15 one time. Put my 1 up here. I'm going to subtract 10 out. 10 from 15 gives me 5. 10 does not go into 5, so what I want to do is I want to add a 0. But since 10 won't go into 5, remember, I want to put a decimal in. So my answer is going to be 1 point something. Let's bring down that 0 that we put in here before. 10 will go into 50 5 times. If we think back, 1.5, 1 5/10, it's the same as saying $1.50. So we have half of this done. We know that if I buy 10 pounds of bulk candy and they charge me $15, I'm actually paying $1.50 per pound. Let's compare that to the package price and see which one is better. So let's do the same thing again. I need to divide the top and the bottom by the bottom number, or the denominator. So this will be equal to 2 divided by 2 is 1. So for 1 pound, now what I want to do is divide this $3.98 by 2. So I have room here. I'm going to work the problem out. We'll erase some of this to give us some space. So I'm going to get 3.98, $3.98, and I want to divide that by 2. We have a decimal in this number, so I'm just going to go ahead and carry it up. 2 will go into 3, we know, one time. I know already it's going to be $1 and something. Put my 2 here. Subtraction problem. 2 from 3. Get a 1. Decimal is brought up. 2 will not go into 1. So let's bring down the 9. 2 will go into 19. I know 2 times 9 is 18. So I'm going to subtract again. I get a 1. Let's bring down this 8. 2 doesn't go into 1. That's why I'm bringing down the 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. So we just learned that the last time. So now I have a total of $1.99. So I'm going to put that over here. And now I just want to compare the two. What's the better buy? If I buy in bulk, it's $1.50 per pound. If I buy a package, it's $1.99 per pound. I don't know about you, but I would rather pay $1.50 over $1.99. So I think that this is actually the better deal, buying in bulk. So this is how I can compare two rates to see which rate is a better deal.